Rewinds are brought to you by Laughlin and Wolfington. Your home sold guaranteed realty. Find out how much your home is worth instantly at LaughlinWolfingtonRealty.com.
Listeners sent us an email into the McLaughlin Seafood inbox.
You've got mail.
At WVOM at BlueberryBroadcasting.com said, you guys need to talk with a fella named Ryan Tinsman, if I'm saying the man's name correctly, Ryan Tinsman, from Portland, describing him as a citizen journalist, a guy on the front lines that's getting a whole lot of flack from the left. Reached out. Ryan Tinsman. Am I saying Tinsman correctly, Ryan?
You're saying it better than I do.
Ryan, my name is Ric Tyler. This is Paul Wolf. Welcome to our program. Listener told us that we need to look at something that you've been doing, building an online following, and really taking a hard look at what's going on in Maine's largest city, the homelessness, the drug use, the needles everywhere, public safety issues in Portland. Let's start there. What are you seeing in the city that leads the state often, Ryan?
What am I seeing that leads the state? I would say normalizing drugs in front of kids. I know that's a problem everywhere, but I mean, that's why I'm going to continue to do what I'm doing. I mean, I just to tell you, I'll try to be quick about this, but I just got into content creating because I had been attacked so much and just decided to record every time I felt like I was in a sticky situation. Well, I ended up gathering so much content that friends and family said to me, don't just erase all that. Start a channel. You've got way too much content to just throw away. And so that just snowballed into me recording a lot of crazy things. So now I'm just so frustrated with how some people, they'll throw their trash down right next to sidewalks. They'll look up and see a mother and child walking by, and it won't faze them one bit if they're smoking crack or spice or shooting up. And it's just strange. I mean, I keep telling everybody, I know I'm repeating myself, but it's the normalization that's just blowing my mind.
I say Portland, which leads Maine, and I say that because of this. What we often see in Portland is what eventually makes its way to other cities, other communities in our state. Now,
I didn't mean to cut you off, but it absolutely already is. I mean, I'm hearing complaints from all the bordering towns. So. Sorry to cut you off. No,
again, we don't do interviews. Interviews are boring. We have conversations on our program. What changed? What made Portland what it is today?
Oh, I mean, that's probably a philosophical question, but I would agree. I'm an independent, but I do lean conservative probably most of the time, and I have a hard time disagreeing with people that think that liberals are ruining this state. I mean, when I use and just so you know, the way I use the word liberal, I'm usually describing the far left, and if I say neocon, I'm describing the far right, and I gotta say, it just seems like my neocon friends are way more concerned with the common sense things than my liberal friends. My liberal friends are all the type of people that are like, oh, just leave them alone. And what's leaving them alone doing for them? I mean, I'm trying to expose how these people are just left hung out to dry, or a mother and father, or, just they don't know what to do for their kids. I talk to people all the time that won't let their kids, and I don't know if you knew this, but the high schoolers have to use the metro buses. That is their bus. So I'm talking to more and more parents, my cousin is one of them, who won't let their kids ride the bus. It's just that crazy.
What are they paying their tax dollars for?
I know. And my cousin in particular, I feel bad for her because she claimed she had to quit her job. She's got 4 girls, and 4 of them at the time were in high school, and one of them was in 7th or 8th grade. I mean, I don't blame her for being scared. I've seen enough to know that, the women, I haven't seen them get harassed too bad, but I talk to women all the time that say they won't use certain bus stops because the harassment's just too bad. Mm. And it's actually not even usually sexual harassment. It's just, this is what's crazy. It's people bumming for money, but in a very aggressive way. I mean, they get right in your face. And some of these guys, I've seen it. I did it to a guy the other day. I walked right up to him and I said, really? You say thank you if people give you money, and you say F you if they don't? That's an interesting approach. And then he just said F you to me.
We're talking with Ryan Tinsman. He is documenting Portland's street conditions, what he's seeing, and what you may be seeing in your community, your city, in some shape, in some fashion. It's the policies that some argue enable people to continue to live a lifestyle that becomes problematic. That's where the political line, some say, lies. Ryan, what do you see?
Well, yeah, I've been talking to more and more people that were actually for this needle program, just as one example, in the beginning, and I think most people can agree that it's not working out. I mean, I always tell people there are good ideas and there are practical ideas. Sometimes they intersect, but they're not always the same thing, and I think this is a good example of how, I think the needle program was a great idea, in its intent, but I think the way it's played out, we can all see that it's been a disaster.
Let's dig into the needle. What we have seen in other cities is those who are paid to administer the program are the ones that are coming to the table with city leaders and sharing the data that paints them as successful. Meanwhile, we have needles all over the street. We really don't think they're actually being used for GLP-1, as apparently one city councilor in Bangor claimed. But those who are in the business of administering the needles are telling us that they're a success. There's no one else that's being a third-hand party reviewing whether this program is working, Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, I think you would need to get out the hard data on. It wasn't the biggest argument that it would help lower disease. I mean, I think first and foremost we'd need to start there and say, has it had any impact? If it hasn't at all, then we need to get rid of it.
Well, then we can look right to Penobscot County, where it has its highest HIV rate in, Paul, I'm looking at you because I can't remember, 10, 20?
I think it was like 40 years
decades?
Or something. Yeah,
okay.
Decades.
So that's not necessarily working. A listener wants us to ask you this, Ryan, because they have seen some of the posts where, and this bothers us, and you can argue whether an independent journalist, someone who is doing new digital media like yourself, like others, being, my word, no one else is targeted. Am I correct in seeing that people who disagree with your actions, your documentation of what's going on in Portland, posting photos of you in the city and warning people of you?
Yeah, that just happened this week. That flyer actually showed up on Reddit first, actually I saw it on Threads first. But bottom line is, the person I suspected of doing it, if she didn't do it, it's likely one of her friends. There's ironically enough, she's a local social worker who I'm living rent free in her head. She created a page dedicated to going after me on Reddit. So it's not even just some random article. She created some page. And, the left is... Well, I want to be clear. It's the far left.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a lot of Democrat friends. All my doctors are Democrats. A lot of people very, very close to me are moderate Democrats. And they're not like the people I'm describing when I get frustrated. But you know what I mean. It's the far left. They
Certainly
just want
do.
me to... They believe... Compassion and empathy
is
just to walk by and pretend it doesn't exist, sweep it under the carpet, and everything will get better.
We often say on our program that compassion costs money, and whose money do you want to spend, and is your act of compassion actually working? Let me ask you this, Ryan. What are you showing the people of Portland and the people of Maine that the Portland Press-Herald isn't showing, that WGME isn't showing, that WMTW, that News Center Maine, that Maine Morning Star, the Beacon? What are you showing people that legacy media is not showing people?
Well, I would say a lot of just how disastrous the fallout has been. I mean, that's the obvious one, but I'm sort of switching subjects. They're not down at I would consider those organizations you just mentioned left-leaning, correct? And you don't even rarely ever see them down at their own protests. So I don't know. I don't know what WGME does, or Portland Press Herald. I don't know what they do with their time and money, but you just don't see them out much.
Well, here's my follow-up question. Pardon me as I have to grab the phone. We've really got to do something about the phone that rings in this studio when we're live on the air. Give me just a moment, please. Here's my follow-up question to that. If legacy media was taking the time to show more of what you see and what you're sharing, what kind of a change would we see in our cities and our state?
Probably have a Republican mayor.
Ryan, we're going to close this by asking a favor of you. Stay safe, okay? Watch your back.
Right, thank you. I appreciate it.
Where do we find
it all the time?
And where do we find your stuff online? How do we follow what you're reporting?
Well, I have different usernames on different sites, but I'm on every social media site, and I did just get back on Facebook. We didn't touch on that, but my old account got nuked 3 months ago.
Well, that's a passive sentence. It didn't get nuked. Someone nuked it. Who nuked it?
It's hard to know. I mean, I may have got mass reported, as they say, or it could have been something else. I don't know, but it was weird. They flagged me for promoting drugs, the sale and use of drugs.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
If they're trying to shut you down, you must be doing something right. That's what we've often heard. Ryan Tinsman, Tinsman. If you can, take a look at his stuff. See what he's sharing.
Rewinds are brought to you by Laughlin and Wolfington. Your home sold guaranteed realty. Find out how much your home is worth instantly at laughlinwolfingtonrealty.com.